Welcome to New Realities. My name is Alan Steinfeld, and this program is an investigation into a spiritual awakening that's happening on this planet and with many people in many countries. It's not just for New York or this particular show. I've been meeting people all over the world who are involved in an awakening of consciousness. And two of those people are here today, Jaime Campos and Isabel Forte.
¿Qué tal?
Hello. Hi, Alan.
Jaime will be mostly talking about his work and Isabel translating, but she also experienced Jaime's work and is a work of personal transformation where he helps us tap into our patterns. And as we get through our patterns, we awaken to more of who we are. That is what's so exciting about his work.
I'll have to add that by tapping into to people's patterns, the way he does it is by tapping into your subconscious to break the pattern.
La energía
Energy
fluye en el universo.
flows in the universe.
Cuando la energía
When the energy
nos atraviesa,
goes through us,
pasa por todas nuestras capas internas.
goes through all the stages, our internal stages.
Si esas capas tienen bloqueos,
If those stages have blockages,
es como si fueran pequeños espejos
it's as if they were small mirrors
que reflejan
that reflect
desequilibradamente
in a unbalanced way
la energía.
the energy.
Y el resultado
And the result of this
es que lo que entra
is that what's coming in
no sale.
can come out.
So the universal energy cannot flow through us when there's a block.
A través del músculo,
Through muscle resistance,
Muscle testing, right?
push,
Uh-huh.
push,
Uh-huh.
nos va dando, el músculo contrae o relaja
the muscle is either going to contract or relax,
Yes.
y el músculo conecta con la información inconsciente,
and
subconsciente.
the muscle connects with the information that is locked in your subconscious,
Y nos permite localizar
and it allows us to be able to spot
qué bloqueos
where the blockages are
son los que impiden
and which are the ones that are
que fluya la
stopping
energía.
that energy to flow.
Es muy diferente entender un bloqueo
It's very different to understand a blockage
que el código que utiliza el inconsciente.
than to understand the code that the subconscious is using.
Hay que buscar exactamente
You have to find precisely,
a través del músculo
through muscle resistance,
dónde empieza el bloqueo,
where the blockage starts.
dónde nació, cómo se creó,
Yeah, how was
cuál
it
es
created?
el inicio.
What was the initial?
It wasn't what I thought it was, he's saying.
Yes.
Not always, it can be.
No es siempre lo que uno cree.
No, generalmente no es lo que uno cree.
In general, it's never what you
Oh,
think it is.
Oh, because it's subconscious.
Exactly, because it's subconscious. Porque
Oh.
he starts creating a relationship with your subconscious through the muscle.
Uh-huh.
Primero localizo el bloqueo,
First, he'll be able to spot where the blockage is.
porque el bloqueo no es ni más ni menos
Blockage is no more than
que una situación vivida
a situation that you've lived
en un momento dado,
in a specific moment
pero que no he podido digerirla en ese
that you
momento
were not able to digest
por las
properly
circunstancias de mi
because
vida.
of the circumstances
Right,
of your
so
life.
it's-
Y las
Stays
dejo
in
ahí
the system.
enquistadas.
So
It stays there as a thing.
yes, yeah.
And then you go in and do what?
Pregunto por la familia,
I ask, does it have something to do with your
El
family?
trabajo,
Does it have something to do
las
with your
relaciones
job,
personales.
with your personal relationships, for
pero la
example?
respuesta siempre será del músculo,
But the response is always going to be with your
nunca
muscle.
de la persona.
It's never the person.
Okay,
it's
so
not what
let's-
your conscious thinks it is.
So he's asking my body, my mind's out of it, he's getting a yes, it's with, this or that. And
Yes.
then what does he do to release it?
¿Qué haces para que se desbloquee?
Una vez localizado exactamente a qué parte de la vida pertenece,
Once he spotted what part of your life does that blockage belongs to,
busco cuál es la emoción
he finds the emotion
que quedó impactada en la situación.
that was impacted in that subconscious blockage.
La persona
The person,
que es adulta
the adult side of you,
conecta con el subconsciente,
now connects with the subconscious
que es
side of
el
you,
niño o la emoción,
which is the inner child
del
or
bloqueo.
the emotion of the blockage,
y vuelve a crear esa conexión.
and creates, even if it's just for a moment, creates that connection with the two.
Okay, let's do one right here with me, okay?
Hagamos
So people
una
can
muestra,
really
una
get a sense
demostración.
of what's going on. Do I ask him or does he just muscle test?
He never asks.
Oh, okay, then
No, he
just
talks to
go
your
ahead.
subconscious.
Just talk to my subconscious. My
Que
subconscious
puedes empezar cuando
has its
quieras,
own
en
mind.
vez-
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Empieza.
Okay.
Primero,
First,
comprobamos el músculo,
we test the muscle,
un poquito menos fuerte.
a little less strong, not as
Okay.
strong.
Push.
Okay.
Ok, perfecto.
Muscle test.
¿Puedes pensar en una emoción?
You could think of a certain emotion.
Okay. Okay.
Perfecto.
That was a good
Ahora
emotion.
tenemos fijada una información.
Now he
Emocional.
has locked in an emotional, an emotion.
He's tuned into my emotion.
Yes, he's tuned in.
And now he's just
Thank you.
asking my body without me getting involved.
Exactly.
My mind's not.
No, your
He's
conscious
just talking
is,
to my body with his mind.
exactly.
That's good. I love that.
I know. You could think of what am I having for dinner?
Okay.
Y nos daría una emoción de los 35 años.
It happened. The emotion blockage happened at 35.
O sea,
Okay.
una emoción actual
It's an emotion. It's an actual emotion
va encadenada
that's been chained to,
y su principio son los
and the
35
base
años.
was at 35.
Can I tell you what I was thinking? Like, why do I have a lot of resistance to completing
¿Puede
certain
decirte lo que
projects?
estaba pensando? ¿Que por qué le cuesta
Sí.
tanto finalizar proyectos?
So, okay, with that got in place at 35, and then,
Eso ocurrió a los 35 y entonces,
so what are we doing about it?
¿y ahora qué hacemos después?
Ahora tiene que
Now,
pensar
You have to think.
en su familia.
Your family, for example.
¿Dónde vivía? Tienes que emplazarte en dónde vivías,
Where did you
qué
live?
hacías,
What were
tu
you doing
trabajo,
at
tus relaciones
35?
personales.
Personal relationships, your jobs.
Okay, and think about all that, yeah.
¿Vivían tus padres?
Were your parents alive at the time?
Yes, 35, what year was that? Yeah.
Tough question.
Yes, I think,
Yeah.
yes,
Sí.
yes,
¿Y
they were.
cuántos hermanos
How many
tienes?
siblings?
2 younger brothers.
At 35,
Mhm.
dos hermanos.
Vale. ¿Piensa en tus hermanos?
Think of your siblings?
Okay.
Wish. Vale. No.
No,
not them.
it's not your brothers.
¿Piensa en tus padres?
Think of your parents?
Wish. Vale. Wish. Ahí sí.
It
Yeah.
has to do with my parents.
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, let's keep going.
It may
It's
seem
okay.
simple, but
no,
it's
it's
amazing.
okay. It's always it's always the parents.
Luego,
What?
una vez ahí,
Now that we established that it has to do with your parents,
buscaríamos más profundamente.
we would go deeper,
Es como tirar de un cable.
yes, and see what the situation was with your parents.
¿Tienes relación con los padres
You have a relationship with your parents,
o tienes relación con uno de los dos?
or is the relationship is with your mother or your father? one
¿O
of
era
the
la
two.
relación entre ellos dos?
Or was it the relation among themselves that affected you
Cuando yo la veía desde
Okay,
fuera.
when you saw it from the outside?
Y el cuerpo va
And
respondiendo.
the body, it keeps responding. ¿Quiere que le siga
Okay, go ahead.
Sí, 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 sí.
Okay, but
Piensa,
it's fine.
piensa en tu padre.
Think of your father.
Vale. Piensa en tu madre.
Think of your mother.
Vale. Tiene que ver con tu padre.
It's your father.
It's my father.
I could even
Okay.
see that.
Sí,
I think my father
Eh,
was not doing so well at that point.
Que cree que su padre no.
Yeah, I think he was ill at that
Estaba
point,
enfermo.
actually.
Estaba enfermo.
Sí.
¿Tu padre terminaba todos sus proyectos?
Did he used to finish all his projects?
You know, I think because he did get ill, he was not able to complete some of his business. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Ahora que lo mencionas, porque se puso
Yeah.
enfermo, no pudo acabar
I think
varios de
there
sus
was a
proyectos.
connection there. Good job. So now what?
¿Y ahora qué?
Yeah. Now it's shifted.
Now it's in
Is
your
it?
consciousness. Ahora
Now
está
it came from
consciente.
subconscious to conscious.
Ahora,
Now, there's more.
piensa en tu padre.
Think of your father.
Uy, ok. Hay un momento
There is a moment
en la relación con tu padre,
in the relationship you had with your father
en esos 35 años,
when you were 35
que sentiste
that you felt
la angustia o
the
el temor
anguish or fear
o la impotencia
or
de
the
tu padre
impotence of your father. You picked up on his
de poder
Yes.
terminar esa
So I was
situación.
identifying with my father's incapability to complete something.
Dice que sí, se estaba
something like
identificando
that,
yeah.
con la...
Okay.
Sí,
Sí.
yes.
Sí, sí, sí,
Okay,
sí, sí.
so how do I change that?
¿Cómo lo cambio?
Ahora nunca tienes que cambiar nada.
You never have to change anything.
Trabajar con el fondo
To work with the
El cambio
subconscious,
tiene que ser automático.
with the deep,
Tiene que ser él.
The change happens on its own.
Ahora nosotros vamos nosotros vamos a buscar
we are
qué
going to
energía
find what energy
del cuerpo
from the body
ha adquirido también esa parte.
has acquired also that part of.
Tenemos un sentimiento,
We
pero
have a
también
feeling,
tenemos un meridiano de energía,
but we also have a meridian of energy,
como en medicina china.
like in Chinese medicine.
But the other thing is, just by making me aware of it, I think something shifts.
Sí, pero él cree que también por el hecho de que él ahora sea más consciente de esa situación, que ya puede cambiar cosas.
Sí.
Yes.
Okay.
Cuando está en el subconsciente,
When it's in your subconscious,
Yeah.
the
hay una
blockage,
barrera
there's a barrier
que impide
that
que el
stops
consciente
you from the consciousness to be aware.
pueda crear un cambio.
So yes, a change could be done at this point.
Cuando actualizas,
When you-
nosotros llamamos actualizar,
When you update,
poner al día
yes, when you update
lo que estaba dentro.
what was down below in the
When you
subconscious.
bring it to light,
Yes.
Una cosa era cómo funcionabas
One thing is how you used to work,
y otra cosa es que seas consciente
and on the
de
other
por qué
hand,
funcionas.
is to be aware of how you used to work that way.
Entiende que lo que antes era una lucha
You understand that what used to be an inner fight,
se convierte en un
To
aprendizaje.
complete things, you're
it
saying?
turns into
This-
it turns into a learning experience.
Oh, so this particular incident
Yes.
with me was an inner struggle, and it was subconscious, my reasoning. So now that I'm
Esta
aware of
experiencia
it,
era subconsciente y ahora que es
now that
consciente
I'm
de
aware
ella,
of it, it becomes what?
a learning experience.
Ahora,
I don't get that part.
Repítelo.
No, I don't get how it is I mean, what am I learning? What did I learn?
¿Cuál es la
from that?
experiencia que él tiene que aprender?
ahora
Now,
hay que ir a la emoción.
you have to go into the emotional part of
¿Cuál
it.
es la emoción
What is the emotion?
que impide
It's not over. What is the emotion
hacer
that is
lo que
stopping
uno quiere
you
hacer hasta el final?
from doing what you really want
Terminar
to
sus
achieve,
proyectos.
like finishing your
¿Cuál es la emoción?
Well, I
Your
think part of
projects.
the
What is the emotion?
identification with the father is sadness.
Lo
Let's
que él
see
dice
if what you say
con lo que su
with
subconsciente
what your subconscious
dice.
Okay.
says.
Piensa en la tristeza.
Okay.
Think of sadness.
Okay.
Uy, vale. No es tristeza.
It's not
It's
sadness.
not?
No.
No.
Okay, let me find what the emotion is. It's more like struggle, fight, having to fight.
Una pelea
Sí,
interna.
like
sin
that.
movimiento.
Yeah.
Una
Without
sensación
moving.
de ir yendo
You're
como una
fighting.
cinta,
I'm
pero que no se
fighting
mueve del sitio.
myself.
Yes.
It's an inner. It's a fight
it's just like a vicious cycle.
Yes,
you know?
I
You
think
just
the
it
emotion
doesn't.
of this particular thing is that.
Well, the way he would test it, la forma que lo testaría Jaume Campos would be with flowers of Bach, the
right,
the
so you
Bach
test that.
essences. But he didn't bring them because
Oh,
we
it's
didn't know
okay.
we were going to treat you.
That's okay.
It would be a lot faster than you going through all the
But-
emotions you think it may be.
Okay, so let's say it's this fight. I mean, can you test if it's for that one? Because it feels
Puedes testar si es
An
eso,
inner
es
inner fight,
la
yeah.
pelea
Que piense en
continua.
la sensación.
Think of the sensation.
Okay.
Uy, ok.
That's what I feel.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
that. It's that inner fight. That inner-
La
Ahora-
pelea es la lucha interna.
Sí, esa es. Ahora,
Now,
lo más importante
the most important thing
es ver qué meridiano de acupuntura
is to see which meridian, acupuncture meridian,
se afectó en el momento del impacto.
was affected during that impact, that
Hay
moment.
una
that
memoria-
emotional impact.
There's a memory,
Una memoria emocional,
there's an emotional memory,
una memoria energética
there's an energetic memory,
y una expresión física del proceso.
and there's a physical expression from the whole process.
Entonces, yo comprobaría
So now he's going to test there.
Bladder meridian.
Oh, you know your meridians.
Gallbladder meridian.
Uy,
I don't know.
uy,
Stomach.
uy. No. Uy,
Large intestine.
uy.
You know your meridians.
Hay un sentimiento
There's a feeling, an emotion
de no poder hacer más.
of not being able to do more.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yes, I can identify with that.
Vale. Ahora quiero que cierre los ojos,
He wants you to close your eyes,
que
Okay.
piense en eso
think of that emotion,
y golpeo.
not being able to do more,
You're tapping. Yeah.
tapping the meridian.
The large intestine meridian.
Well, it's the one that gave positive with the
Right.
muscle resistance.
Okay, and then tapping it does what?
¿Qué es lo que hace cuando das golpecitos al meridiano?
estimular al meridiano
stimulate the meridian
a liberar el bloqueo interno
to help liberate the internal blockage
a nivel de la energía,
at a energetic
a nivel
level.
energético.
So this feeling that I can always do more, like a sort
Esta
of
sensación que siempre puedo hacer
um,
más siendo tan
yeah,
perfeccionista.
I don't think it's there anymore. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but
Parece que
something
no lo
seems
tengo
to
en
have
estos
shifted.
momentos.
I mean, in that thinking, I can't even think those thoughts anymore.
Mientras lo estaba pensando, parece ser que ahora no puedo pensar en eso.
I mean, something like that. I mean,
Algo
it's a
así.
subtle thing, but
Puede ser que sea poco, pero
Sí, son puntos
these meridian points
que nos permiten,
that allows us
frente a las situaciones emocionales
that during emotional
que
situations
nos angustian, nos
that
dan
give us
miedo,
anguish or fear,
nos permiten liberar esa,
allows us
esa
to
carga,
liberate
esa
that
carga que
load,
bloquea
that blockage,
y que impide la digestión y la asimilación de la emoción.
that stops you from digesting the emotional.
so by tapping the meridian, the energy is released,
La energía se
and the
libera
subconscious
y el
sort of
subconsciente
releases its hold
también
because we
se
brought it to
desbloquea.
light, and now it's moved out of the body
Y ahora ha
to
salido del
allow
para
the
dejar
more
que-
divine essence to move through us.
para que la esencia más divina pueda pasar por
Oh,
nosotros.
that's simple.
Eso
No.
es.
That's great.
No, but it
We
is
should take-
thank you.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, what?
Se seguiría preguntando
We would continue asking
si hay algún otro bloqueo
if there's another blockage
que impide fluir la energía.
that doesn't allow the energy to flow.
Si hay otro bloqueo,
If there's another blockage,
seguirías comprobando el
we
músculo
would continue
hasta llegar a otra edad
yes, until we get to another age.
que,
Uh-huh.
que tiene que ver con familia, con trabajo,
Does it have to do with
estudio,
family?
relaciones
But you can
personales.
go on and on. It
Yes,
can never
exactly.
end.
No, the body eventually says, I had enough
The
for
body
the day.
knows.
Yeah. Él dice, puedes seguir estando horas y horas. Yo digo, no,
No,
el,
no,
cuerpo,
no.
el cuerpo dice,
Solo trabajo la prioridad.
he only works priority.
Emociones de tristeza
Emotions of sadness
pueden haber miles,
could be, you could have 1,000 of them.
pero la que desencadenó la
But
tristeza
the one that unchanged
Es
that
solo una.
happiness is only one.
I see. You know what is so beautiful about you
Lo
and
que
your
es tan
work
bonito de tu trabajo y de ti
is your compassion,
es tu compasión
your ability to
y tu habilidad
feel.
de sentir.
You tune in through your psychic awareness and you're
estás muy
feeling that
alerta
other person.
y sientes a la otra persona.
sí.
Is
It is true. That is true. I have to say, es verdad.
It's true for you. And that is why I think your work is so
Y por eso
effective.
tu trabajo es tan efectivo. And I'm holding his hand because he's like my big brother.
He's like my big brother too.
Yeah. ¿Quieres con mi hermano?
I like holding his hand too.
Encantado.
They're great hands, you know, they're very healing hands.
Que
Lot of-
son manos muy curativas.
So, do you work beyond the personal? Do you work in the collective?
Que si aparte de desbloquear emociones, si haces otros tipos de trabajos.
Sí.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little
Sí.
bit. So,
Doy conferencias y cursos
He gives conferences and courses
para que la gente aprenda a
so
entenderse.
that people learn to understand each other.
and how can we? How
Una
can
cosa es el DIP a nivel individual
His method, which he created, is deep. The deep method. One thing is to do that at a personal level by testing and yeah,
y otra cosa es a nivel colectivo.
and the other thing is at a collective.
So let's talk about that. How do we do this at a collective level?
¿Cómo lo haríamos a un nivel colectivo?
A un nivel colectivo, yo voy hablando con la gente
I will talk to the class,
y voy sintiéndola.
and I already start feeling them,
Okay.
Y luego la gente pregunta.
and then people start asking,
Y yo les digo
and I'll tell them
qué es lo que su inconsciente les quiere expresar.
what is really their subconscious
Para
that's
su
trying to
evolución personal.
express for their personal evolution.
So, okay, so that's how you work with your classes. You
Así es
go
como,
around
así es
and-
como trabajas con ese tipo de clase, with that type of classes. He
Esa
does
es
it
una parte. Porque en principio lo que
in
siempre
the
hago
beginning, what I always do
es enseñar a la gente
is to teach people
que los conflictos
that conflicts
vienen de una edad muy temprana.
come from a very early age.
Right.
En el primer momento, en el
First
momento
moment
en que un niño
that a child
coge un rotulador,
takes a marker
ve una maravillosa pared
and
blanca
sees a beautiful white
y
wall,
empieza a expresarse
starts expressing himself
y a sacar todo lo que tiene en su interior
and to bring out everything he
toda
has
su pureza
inside,
energética.
all his pure energy,
y
Yeah.
aparecen los adultos
and then the adults show up
que no conectan con la energía del niño,
that are not connecting with the energy of that child.
conectan con la educación,
They're connecting with the
con
education,
lo correcto.
which is what should be.
Y lo
what's-
correcto no es rayar una pared,
And what you shouldn't be doing is writing on the
So
walls.
that gets stuck in the child. Their
Así que eso se
creative
bloquea.
ability would even be stuck
Eso-
in there.
Así que eso se bloquea en el niño, que la creatividad no
And
debería
they
estar.
go unconscious about that.
Empezamos a
Entonces se
desconectar de nosotros mismos
So we start
de nuestras
deblocking things
sensaciones
about ourselves, feelings that we have.
y empezamos a darle valor a las sensaciones
And
externas.
we start giving more value to the outside world
Lo que le dice
instead
el
of our
padre
feelings. For example, what the father will say to
Es
that
mucho más
child is
importante
more important
que lo que él siente.
than what that child feels.
Right.
Que no
like
significa
in
que
your
no
case.
sea
It
importante.
doesn't mean that it's not important.
Right. But the child then loses
El niño
themselves
se pierde
because of some external authority, which is
Porque
why
la
you couldn't
autoridad externa.
not say, yeah, you had to keep.
Y por eso yo no podía decir,
Because we are taught that
No.
what's outside is more important than
porque nos han
inside.
enseñado que lo de fuera es más
Ah.
importante que lo de fuera. Perdón, lo de
Perdemos
fuera es más importante
la
que lo de
conexión con nosotros
dentro. We
mismos.
lose the connection with ourselves.
Ah.
El trabajo del DIP
The deep method, what we work on,
y el trabajo de los cursos y las conferencias en
and the
general
work that he does in all his courses and in general,
enseñan a nivel
teach
grupal
at a global level
a volver a conectar
to
con ese
connect
niño.
again with your inner child.
Yes.
Ese niño que se bloqueó
That inner child that has blockages
y que empezó a darle valor al exterior.
and that started instead to give more value to the exterior.
But what if that child just, okay,
¿Qué
was
ocurre con
okay
ese
to
niño?
write all over the wall and do
Si
what
le
they
dicen,
want and without
"Puedes hacer lo que
discipline
quieras, no tiene
and just go
disciplina,
like wild?
que haga lo que quiera"?
Would that be okay?
¿Eso sería bueno?
No,
No.
tiene que haber un equilibrio
There's got to be a balance
Ah.
entre el pensamiento y el
between the
sentimiento,
thought and the feeling,
el adulto y el
the
niño,
adult and the child,
el consciente y el
the
inconsciente.
consciousness and the subconsciousness.
So
El
how?
adulto,
¿Cómo?
el adulto
The adult
debería de transmitir al
has to
niño
transmit to the child
esa parte educacional
that educational side, the
para
exterior,
poder relacionarse con el entorno,
so that he could relate with his environment.
pero
But
el adulto tiene que tener en cuenta
The adult has to be
el
aware
valor emocional del niño.
of the value of the
So
emotion of the child.
acknowledge the creativity of the child
Sí,
and also tell
que le des
them what's
valor a la creatividad,
appropriate, but
pero a la
without
misma vez
traumatizing.
decirle lo que es apropiado,
Okay.
pero sin traumatizarlo.
Y por eso,
And that's why
la gente que
People.
hemos desarrollado mucha sensibilidad,
that we've evolved a lot of sensitivity, people that are very sensitive.
de pequeños,
When we are young,
no lo has vivido muy bien,
you probably didn't have it easy
porque el entorno
because your
tiene unos
surroundings
parámetros muy...
have very firm parameters.
Yes, we are all growing up very firm parameters, and we lose a part of
Y
ourselves. So,
perdemos una parte de nosotros con
Eso es, desconectamos.
we
so we
disconnect.
need to reconnect with
We need to
ourselves.
reconnect. Tenemos que volvernos a conectar.
Eso es.
And then what's that connection then to our spiritual lessons? That reconnection to the purity of the child.
Oh wait, I got lost there. ¿Cómo es la
what's-
conexión con el niño a nivel espiritual?
Yes.
Is
How
that
does
it?
this? How does that connect to our spiritual lessons releasing that?
Cuando el nivel
When the level
de la personalidad,
of the personality level,
desbloqueando las emociones
as you deblock all the emotional
que el niño
blockages that the
ha
child
ido adquiriendo
had
en los
acquired
primeros años,
through the first years of his life,
la conexión con la espiritualidad
the connection with
se produce
spirituality
automáticamente.
occurs automatically.
Because it's our natural state.
Porque es nuestro estado
Sí,
natural.
Eso es.
You're good. You're good, Alan.
Yeah, sí,
La
yeah.
dificultad
The difficulty
está en el nivel de la
is
personalidad.
in the level of the personality
Yes.
personality level.
Yes.
Es una lucha dual
It's a dual fight
con nuestro entorno.
with our environment.
Are you pretty clear? Would you say?
What do you
Let me
mean, are you
test
pretty
you.
clear?
Have you worked through all your blocks?
Dice, ¿has trabajado todos tus bloqueos conscientes?
Sí, no, todos no lo sé.
Not all. He doesn't know of all, but a lot.
No, you seem pretty
Trabajo,
happy.
Dice,
sea,
parece un
to-
hombre muy contento,
sí,
muy feliz.
todo esto
All of this
viene de mi experiencia.
comes from his experience.
Yes.
A los 15 años murió mi padre
When he was 15, his father passed away.
y vivimos una experiencia muy
And I lived
traumática.
a very traumatic experience at home.
Y se pudo desbloquear, yo me fui desbloqueando esos
And I
procesos.
started deblocking. I had to go through a process of deblocking all those things that
So
were.
you really worked on yourself.
Así que te trabajaste a ti mismo.
Okay. I see. Of course, that's how.
Para poder ayudar a los demás.
This way I could help others.
Yeah. So here you are. You're
Aquí estás.
doing your beautiful work.
Haces un trabajo
and you're very
maravilloso
happy
y
to
eres
help
un
people.
hombre, estás contento de ayudar a la gente.
What else do you see for
¿Qué
yourself
más
and the
ves
planet?
para
Is
ti,
there-
para el
do you
planeta?
tap into our collective consciousness?
I have an answer for that. I think awareness. Look, this man is making us aware. Perdona,
well, thank you, Isabel.
perdona que haya interrumpido.
Me parece muy bien.
Sí, ha sido el que estamos, somos más conscientes. Tu técnica es para que también seamos más conscientes del subconsciente.
Es necesario
It's necessary
trabajar la personalidad
to work the personal
y desbloquear
personality
nuestros bloqueos
and to deblock our blockages,
para poder acceder
to access
a una respuesta espiritual
a spiritual response
y conectar con la energía
and
planetaria.
connect with the planet energy or the universal energy.
We rise up out of just the personal drama and we see ourselves from a spiritual perspective.
Entonces nos vemos más a un nivel más espiritual.
Sí,
Okay,
pero hace falta un gran trabajo
but we need to do a
para
lot of
poder
work
acceder a
to
que todo el
access
universo, todo el
that the whole
mundo, nuestra
universe,
Tierra,
are all the planet, the whole planet,
tenga una conciencia mucho más junta,
has a more collective
compacta,
conscious and
Yeah.
more
que permita
compact
que todo se
conscious,
eleve
so that
mucho más.
everything elevates at a different level,
And that's what's happening.
un amor mucho más intenso.
a more intense love.
Es importante
It's important,
el trabajo individual,
individual work
como individuo.
as an individual.
Yo el planeta
The planet,
lo veo como un
I see
internet.
it as internet.
Cada uno tiene su
Each
ordenador,
one has their own computer,
pero los ordenadores están
but
interconectados.
they're all connected
Yes.
with each other.
Todo lo que afecta a un
Everything
ordenador
that affects one computer
afecta a
is
todos
going
los
to affect all the
ordenadores.
other computers.
Pero es muy importante
But it's very important
que el nivel de la
that
personalidad.
the personal
La
level.
espiritualidad tiene que ser una
Spirituality
consecuencia
has to be a consequence.
del nivel de
Of the
mejoría
level.
a nivel de la personalidad.
The level of somebody getting better
Right.
to get to the personal level. Wait, is
So
that what
as
you
you
said?
fix the personal, the planetary consciousness is lifted.
Así que
That's
cuando
what I read.
trabajas al nivel personal, el mundo entero mejora.
Sí.
So you're like a troubleshooter on the personality.
Aunque sea
It's
una,
hard to
una
explain.
pequeña porción.
Llame. Gracias, muchas gracias for being a guest
Thank
here.
you very much.
Yeah, llamecompas.com.
Something like that.
Llame. If you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com, or email me at newrealities@earthlink.net. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.